They have no access to showers. They shower every other day or every 4 days, Lindsay said. She added the bathrooms are backed up because you have so many people using them. On rainy days, she said, water pours into the tent. She described the conditions as miserable not to forget, the constant battle with mosquitoes. Lindsay's account seems to corroborate all of the other accounts from detainees inside Alligator Alcatraz. Since Lindsay worked there, things have only escalated.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup.
This is Ashley with Status Coup.
On the ground.
In Philadelphia.
Flint, Michigan. East Palestine, Ohio. Please support the leading independent news outlet on the ground,
covering what the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. A former corrections officer working at Alligator Alcatraz has come forward to share her experience working under what sound like gruesome conditions at the Immigration Detention Center in the Florida Everglades. Lindsay, who spoke with NBC6 and asked that her last name be withheld due to fears of harassment, worked at the Immigration Detention Center for about a week beginning July 6th before getting COVID and needing to isolate, after which point she was fired. Lindsay was hired by a company called Gardaworld Federal Services, a security company which is reported to be one of the vendors at the detention center. So here is the piece from NBC. So former Alligator Alcatraz worker describes inhumane conditions inside. In an exclusive report, NBC6 spoke with a former corrections officer who says she saw hundreds held in cages with no sunlight, backed up toilets, and little access to showers. Again, her name is Lindsay, and she says it's inhumane the way they're keeping their residents. She told NBC6, when I got there, it was overwhelming. She said, I thought it would get better, but it just never did. The piece goes on. I was aware that it was going to be the Alligator Alcatraz, said Lindsay, who added that while she knew she would be living in a shared trailer, she said the conditions were rough for everyone there. We had to use the porta-johns. We didn't have hot water half the time. Our bathrooms were backed up, she said. NBC6 has reported similar accounts of conditions inside from advocates, detainees, and their families. When talking about the space where detainees are being held, Lindsay said it looked like an oversized kennel. She said each tent had 8 large cages, which hold 35 to 38 inmates, which means each tent holds close to 300 detainees. So again, here's a photo of the caged area. They have no sunlight. There's no clock in there. They don't even know what time of the day it is. They have no access to showers. They shower every other day or every 4 days, Lindsay said. She added the bathrooms are backed up because you have so many people using them. On rainy days, she said, water pours into the tent. She described the conditions as miserable not to forget, the constant battle with mosquitoes. Lindsay's account seems to corroborate all of the other accounts from detainees inside Alligator Alcatraz. Since Lindsay worked there, things have only escalated. Detainees have reported not being able to use the phone after 10 p.m. now, lack of appropriate or timely medical attention, the temperature oscillating between freezing cold and sweltering, lack of access to both showers and hygiene products like toothpaste, lack of access to water, only being given 1 cup of water per meal, which could mean 1 cup of water per day in the Florida sun, as detainees have also alleged being given 1 meal per day and that what they were given was spoiled. David Decker was on the ground reporting from Alligator Alcatraz and spoke with Thomas Kennedy, an activist who is protesting outside of the facility. Here is what Thomas told David Decker when he was reporting for Status Coup on the ground outside of Alligator Alcatraz.
So, we were able to speak to a family member who has a loved one here in detention. And, he was protesting the horrible conditions of the site. I believe he was threatening to go on hunger strike. And as a result, he was placed in a box, locked inside that box, put outside in the elements from about 3 p.m. till about 7 p.m. or so. While, it's very hot. There's a ton of mosquitoes out here. Being placed in a box, imagine it's torture.
They also reported
any way to determine what's going on with hunger strike folks, like how many people are striking and what's the status of their health?
Yeah, it's difficult to get a clear picture because obviously, lawyers have not been let in here. That's why the ACLU is currently in a lawsuit against this place. From speaking to family members that have people in detention here, know that at least 12 people or so are in hunger strike. This is about the 12th day that they're in hunger strike. The problem is that there's been a larger than average number of hospitalizations, and we know this because we're seeing the ambulances go in and out, over a dozen this weekend alone, and 1 while the vigil was happening. I mean, we saw it, we took video of it. And also they've been transferring people that are participating in this hunger strike to other detention facilities, I believe as a way of breaking up the strike. But I do know that at least 12 people engaged in this protest.
The Department of Homeland Security has denied allegations that there is a hunger strike and has previously stated that allegations about inhumane treatment and poor conditions are false. But Lindsay's account also supports what 3 other former guards told the Washington Post in July. 3 former guards at the facility said they were attracted to the job because of its pay. Online ads and a hiring document reviewed by the Washington Post show they were offered $26 an hour plus generous overtime, $39 an hour. Lindsay also reported that pay was $26 an hour, and that was her motivation for taking the job. The Post is not identifying them, the workers, as they cited fears of retribution or having signed non-disclosure agreements. 2 of the guards said they were hired by Critical Response Strategies, a Jacksonville, Florida-based consulting company, to work on a rotation between 21 to 28 days, with 7 to 14 days off in between, according to one hiring agreement reviewed by the Post. Prison guards in Florida typically earn $22 an hour, according to the state's Department of Corrections. One former guard said that she left her job at another South Florida correctional facility because the pay at Alligator Alcatraz was so enticing. She quit her job after about a week because she grew upset about the conditions for staff and detainees. Both of the former guards hired by CRS said that they were asked to begin working the same day they applied online. The piece goes on to say staff members are issued a can of mosquito repellent their first day of work, but detainees are sprayed only when they arrive, according to the 3 former contractors hired as detention guards. The mosquitoes are filling the bathrooms, the showers. You go in to shower, you shower with a million mosquitoes. They give you bug spray, but that still doesn't help, said a retired South Florida County jail officer who worked as a contracted guard for nearly 2 weeks before she was fired by CRS supervisors for reasons she said were not explained to her. She spoke on the condition of anonymity due to fear of retribution by state officials and supporters of President Donald Trump's immigration policies. Again, both guards and detainees seem to agree on the gruesome conditions inside the facility. Lindsay also said, of the people who are being detained, not everybody there is a criminal. Last month, a Human Rights Watch report found that nearly 72% of people detained by immigration's customs enforcement had no criminal history. These people are still human. They were pulled from their livelihood. They're scared. They don't speak our language, she said. NBC also knows that they've asked the state of Florida for a list of detainees and have not been provided with one from the state because it is a black hole of accountability. People are simply being disappeared there and other immigration detention centers across the country without any kind of recourse. The Tampa Bay Times and the Miami Herald did publish a list of about 700 people who had been detained or appeared to be scheduled to be sent to the detention camp in mid-July. So a list of 700 out of the 900 or more that are believed to be there. The outlet said the list was shared with the Department of Homeland Security and the Florida Division of Emergency Management, which oversees the site. Neither disputed its accuracy. But again, this was published on July 13th and may or may not actually be up to date at this point. Lindsay said she was fired from the facility after she caught COVID and said she was accused of altering medical paperwork submitted to the company. She denied the allegations and said she's coming forward because of what she saw. I was fired, and yeah, I'm pissed off, but more so than ever, like they're doing wrong, she said. Lindsay tells NBC6 she was never paid for her work at the facility. The company GuardWorld did not answer our questions about Lindsay's allegations and referred us to state authorities. So there you go. There's Lindsay's account, which again corroborates 3 other guards that spoke with the Washington Post in mid-July, and also corroborates all of the other accounts from detainees that are, inside Alligator Alcatraz. We will have more updates on Alligator Alcatraz coming to you soon, so please be on the lookout for those updates. You can support our independent journalism at statuscoup.com/join. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.